I hope you're feeling sharp because it's time for the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia. The lovely Terry is here in her complete, full state of genius. The whole lot, okay? You didn't bring just a bit. You brought the whole lot today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Good,
glad
hear.
to be in the house.
Yeah, well, into house, yo. Oh, geez.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
became completely pathetic in very early 90s, but there you are. Always fantastic to jump into the show. And we've got some great questions coming up soon from all over the world. I can see them in the corner there. And we've got something from Canada, from New Zealand as well. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
But
Can I actually add something?
You add it yeah.
Now, you can tell me off later if this is not good, but
don't do
if you would like to actually come onto the show, that means bring your issue onto the show,
Yep.
if that's okay.
It's totally okay.
And then we can literally go through it and literally give you a free session on live here, utilising not huge modalities, and you don't have to share anything that's really confidential. It's just where you can really get to the bottom of where you want to be in life and what you want to do, and of course all about your soul purpose.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Sole purpose, it's what we're here for. But you were right. Like, okay, you just given it quite an opportunity there. You've used the exciting word of free, right? Giving someone a free opportunity. And also, it's fun. Like, come and be part of it. Be part of the show. Be here at Edge Radio Australia. We love having people in. We love the company. We love sharing people. We love sharing people's stories. Full stop. Yeah. That's really the bottom line for it. Well, certainly
It's what
for
it's
me.
all about.
It really is.
You know,
This is
if
not...
it was just about us, it'd be, like boring, right?
Very boring
If we're just
indeed.
talking about our own problems, but, bringing
if we were
on
just
all
talking
the others.
about our own problems, this show would go on 24 hours a day. It would be a telethon,
exactly.
right?
It would be a drama series.
Okay, so what is today's subject?
Okay, tapping into your limitless potential, and there's a bit of tongue-in-cheek,
Okay.
bit of Aaron sarcasm that
I am never
just in
sarcastic,
the in the appropriate kind of way.
Okay.
What you're talking about, Terry. What's this tapping into your limitless
funny.
power all about? Because anyway, we'll wait to get to the questions, but that's
Okay.
what it's all about. And it's life will happen every single day.
Will.
And the thing that I'm learning the best at the moment is that every day's a new day.
Could not agree more. You're going through a lot in life at the moment, and that attitude is the best thing you could possibly attach to yourself.
Yeah.
It really is. So
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one.
Not only having a man that's a different man every day, but, with the problem, but also if you are having issues like that we go through in life, then, clear the slate, start again, reset, because every day's a new day.
That's right. Look, the movie 50 First Dates, okay, which obviously deals with memory loss, and that's something that you're obviously feeling a lot with at the moment, and I feel for you. But at the same time, I kind of do see a little silver lining, okay? And a quick hello to Cara there. Happy Wednesday to you. Lovely to see you on board as well. But okay, as far as this new day thing, right?
Yeah.
It is so easy. I do it a lot, right? When I'll dwell on things that have happened in the past. You just really... We all do, yeah. But how good is it? Like, there's almost a level of jealousy that, having a new fresh day every day, and leaving the rubbish behind, it's kind of something beautiful about that.
Yeah. You always think about the jealousy thing when people are really doing well in life, people look like they're successful, they got their acts together, and then there's a lot of jealous people out there, but you never know what's actually going on in the other person's life, because... I understand now why people can get edgy, no pun intended.
Oh, pun away.
People can get rather edgy about things. People that seem to be doing well. I was just saying backstage that, there is another coach that's in the industry that's going through a very similar situation as me. And I had a huge problem with it, mainly because I saw her as showing up with absolute vengeance, showing up in her full power, showing up like there was nothing going on. And I realised I was acting very worldly about that. And, when I looked at it, I had to realise, well, how do you know what she's really going through? And
the public persona and the private reality are often
yes.
very different. And it doesn't make you fake. Right? I want to make that very clear to people. Like, And I don't want to steal your story here, but this is a big issue. We see people, Instagram on socials or whatever, and everyone's, life is so good, and it's really, maybe it's not, right?
Yeah.
You'll actually see the truth when they're caught in traffic and they've got road rage and all that. You'll see what's really happening in someone's life when you get cut off, right?
Yeah.
But you have to show up, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're fake. It means that, I often say, fake it till you make it. But that is just my way of saying, if you're going through adversity, you still have to show up.
You do. You absolutely do. In fact, if you go into that pity party thing, you can really end up in that, victim.
Yeah.
That victim mentality, and that's when everything becomes pathetic. But what I recognised is that this woman is actually true to her superpower.
Right.
And she's very true to everything she preaches and teaches.
Good on her.
And, she does go through a lot of the anguish and the sadness and all of the things that go with.
Yep.
However, she has a belief system, Aaron. And see, this is what it's all about, because whatever you believe about anything and everything is how your life will unfold around that particular topic.
Sure.
So for her mentality and her belief system, and I'm sure it wasn't always like this, is that when the chips are down, when you're going through all of the stuff, that gives you space for more transformation.
It's an opportunity.
Opportunity.
It really
yes.
is. Yeah.
Boom.
Completely agree. Because until you're pushed, you don't need, or you don't know you need that extra capacity, right? You might think you're running, hey, I'm running 100%, this is where I'm going. Until you're pushed and you've got that adversity to come and stomp over. And stomping's probably the right term on this one, because you can't kind of sneak up to it. You've got to get onto it and get onto it hard. But you've got to say, okay, that 100% capacity I was running with before, I was really running at 80. I've got 20 to go. And then you'll go up to that 100 mark and then you go to yourself, well, maybe I need a little bit more. And you'll find it.
Absolutely. And we're kind of alluding to a bit of apathy going on about where you were and what you're doing today. And I think that can happen in a mediocrity world. So, for example, with people that kind of just coast along, nothing much happens, they don't have any drama, so to speak, but then they don't have sometimes they don't have that big upgrade, that big passion, that big fire in their belly. So, I really understand where this person's coming from. That, in fact, I preach on it, don't I?
You do.
Turn your pain into your...
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, on that front, okay, I'm going to go after Big Pharma big time right now, okay, but it's like you go to your doctor, okay, and you go, oh, look, I've broken up with my wife, or I don't know, my kids are driving me nuts, or whatever, okay. And here's a pill, right? And they really push pills onto people. They really push that whole idea of needing antidepressants, okay?
Yeah.
Now, what does that do? Antidepressant, it might take the depression out so you don't feel those lows, but it takes out the highs.
Yeah.
So it squeezes you into this section in the middle where you just mediocre.
Yeah, humdrum, is that what they call it?
Who would want to live there? Right,
Yeah.
in my life, I need my highs. I need my lows. They make the lows make the highs so much sweeter.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't have them, so living in this world, and where I'm going on this is that this is the power of your mind. Okay, this is the machine that runs this whole thing. Okay.
Yep.
Now you can make the decision to go and take a pill, and the pill that will make you feel or you can go, okay, let's talk about this NLP thing. Let's talk about how do I empower myself to reprogram myself? How do I pull that plug out there and plug it into somewhere else where it's working for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm very, very anti all of those drugs. I see so many wonderful people having their lives destroyed on them.
Okay,
It's a big thing,
Yeah.
And they hand them out
especially
so frequently.
self-medicating and a lot of stuff that is highly unnecessary. And of course, people were getting really trapped on the old painkillers because that's doing something for them too. That's why you've got to be so careful, even with painkillers, because of what the brain suddenly tells itself that happens when you're on it. And that again is a belief. So everything that we believe is going to be kind of true.
So incredibly true.
Yeah.
Love seeing these beautiful messages come through. Hello, Melissa. Lovely to see you. Happy Wednesday indeedy to you as well. It was great having you contribute to the show as well last week. Really loved that. Cara said something there. Let's have a look on the big screen so I can see it. Okay, absolutely agree. The lows make the highs so much sweeter. Yeah, that's how I live my life, Cara. And I mean, I've gone through some tough stuff, and they've tried to put me on all those horrible things. No, I need my highs and lows. I'm a music guy. Okay, I'm a sound guy. I want my life to be like a graphic equalizer. Okay, I'm going back to the 80s here.
I like that.
I want to move the bits I want to move. I still want to have the highs. I want to have the lows.
Yeah.
Maybe I want a little bit more bass.
That's right.
I want to be in control of it.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
Yeah, to me that's
a metaphoric, harmonious story in itself. Hi everyone, it's so great to see you guys out there. It's so good. And I wonder if you have learned how to tap into your limitless power. I don't even think I've learned how to do it yet.
No, I think it's a work in progress.
It really is.
I think I don't think you ever really get there.
I'd hate to think that I had.
No, yeah, this is it. No more to see here. Back off.
What you get is what you see is what you get.
No.
This is it, guys. No, I always want to strive for better.
Yep.
And
that should be your personality.
Absolutely, I feel so.
Yep.
I do feel so. But I do have something that I would love to share.
Okay.
And without going into my own personal story too much, and I do believe it's got a lot to do with tapping into your limitless power, because what is limitless power? It's really it's your highest potential. It's where you're functioning at top level.
It is about potential,
and
isn't it?
Yeah. And it's what sort of flicks your switch. It's what brings you home. It's what floats your boat. It's what really, makes you come alive.
Totally agree.
I think a lot of people, they're all about the striving, and that was me. Always striving, got to have more, got to have more, got to have more success, got to have more money, got to have more this, got to have more that, more friends, whatever. And the fact is that the more you want it, the more you're telling yourself you haven't got it. And therefore, sometimes it can be a real plight of desperation. We're going to find that out in one of our questions coming up soon. But let's just say that I feel that having the crisis going on in my life right now has created a lot of the manifesto or the manifestation goals and visions that I had to start happening now.
So it's a catalyst.
It's just that it's like the old saying is, you just sort of let go, you release, and you stop thinking about it. You sort of like easy come, easy go. You don't kind of think about it much anymore, and then it comes your way.
Yeah,
Remember my first husband, how I told you I chased him when I was a young girl, and then one day I kind of forgot about him and went off on my merry way, and then here he was on my doorstep.
Well, yeah, that was a fear element. He was terrified of her. She's bit of a stalker. No, only kidding. I can just imagine life being pursued by Terry.
Yeah.
Like you're a terrier, right? You're going to keep going. No, that's a compliment.
Well,
absolute compliment.
Like a dog with a bone.
Yeah. Well, terriers, it's not like an annoying little chihuahua. No. I say that.
Thank you.
I was at my friend's place yesterday. They've got 2 chihuahuas, right? Okay. And
one reminded you of me?
No, not at all. No, not at all. No. They're actually beautiful dogs. I'm just having some fun.
He's digging himself in a hole.
I really am. Okay. Yes, the thoughts coming out of my mouth don't necessarily agree with where I'm going on this one. But this is a great thing. What you said before about wanting more. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, is that do you think some of your life you spent too much time on chasing the materialistic?
Yeah, so not so much materialistic, because is success materialistic? Success is more about recognition in my world. And, so people are never about what you think. Like if someone comes in and says, I want to be rich, I want to have $1 million in my bank account. You know what? It ain't about the $1 million in their bank account. Look, Aaron, if you had $1 million under your hat, I'd come and rip your head off your head. No, but seriously,
it is a new one. It is a fresh one.
I thought that.
But there's no cash inside. No cash.
Oh, shame.
No cash here.
But if there was, let's just say, and then you took the hat off and you put it over in the corner, and there was the $1 million sitting in there, but you never did a thing with it.
Then what is it?
What is it? It's nothing.
It's
Do you
stuffing
know
in a
what
hat.
it is? But if you knew it was there, if you walked around with $1 million under your hat, you'd probably look a bit like the cat that just swallowed the canary.
I believe there'd be a word that people would be calling me all the time, and it starts with W.
Oh, Malacca.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
I
go
shouldn't
there.
say that. Oh, some people might be knowing that language. No, but true. Sorry about that. Did I just swear on
You can swear all
national
you
radio?
like. You can,
But I don't
international
understand
for
it
that matter,
because
but
it was another language. But no, seriously, when it comes to, even if it is about money and it's about the wealth and whatnot, it's not having the $1 million stashed in your closet or under your hat. It's about how it makes you feel.
Yep,
So
I get that.
it's more likely that it's going to make you feel certain, secure, more confident perhaps, and give you a little bit more, I guess, guts to go out and do stuff and take risks.
My take on that, and everything you said, I completely agree with. But I've got an interesting thing, in my opinion. I think it's interesting. You tell me. Okay, I've been lucky in life that I've had a period of my life where I had money, and lived very, very well. Okay. I've had periods of my life where I've been so incredibly broke that I mean, well, I've lived in poverty, okay, by Australian standards of poverty, I might add, okay,
Yes.
which is very different to so many other parts of the world. But I've lived that difference, right? Now, when I had money, I treated it very differently. Now that I've had the experience of being completely broke, completely stuffed, and all that, do you know what the money now represents to me?
Freedom? I don't know.
Well,
What?
absolutely freedom, but it's funny though. To me, money now that when it comes into my account feels like safety. And that's a very different thing.
Yes.
You feel safer knowing that if something goes on, you've got protection there. Whereas when you don't have it, you're constantly in, fight or flight, right? Like there's that, you're living in fear of, oh, look, if the car breaks down, if I've got a flat tire, or, all that kind of carry on.
Because you've got that feeling inside you, like that, that pent up feeling, and then you sort of you almost contract, and you start feeling like, oh no, I can't do anything, and you start paralyzing, and then you don't want to spend the money, and then as a result you spend more money trying to save it, and then it's life just goes around in a circle like this. It does. So
I mean, why I bring that up is this. So a lot of people will see money as a very evil thing. A lot of people see it as a problem, okay? And the pursuit of money, people see it as a bit sort of nefarious, I guess, right? And well, there's a lot of communists out there as well. But I'm little side note. But where I'm going is the fact that I think that for me, as I say, it's like, okay, if I have success now, great, okay? But it's not about fancy cars and fancy this.
Oh, it is so, Aaron.
No,
don't
make no
lie.
mistake. Make no mistake. Straight to Stuttgart. I'll give myself something very sweet. No, but it's different. It represents that safety now. And I think that a lot of people should actually, should. It's up to you. Feel what you want to feel. But wouldn't it just be nice in life to feel safe again?
Oh, absolutely. And getting back to the car thing, sorry, I just have to latch onto that for a sec.
Always talk about cars.
I'm a hypnotherapist, so you always latch on to what means something to the other person. But you know what? Even with the car thing, it's not about the car anyway, but it's about what it makes you feel.
That's true.
Excited, adrenaline, like
as you
getting
sit
out
there
of your
with
head.
a picture of my old rally car behind you, but there you go.
Yeah.
Well, not mine specifically, one I used to drive.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go. But you're right. It's about what it represents. And I remember when I had a really, really fancy car, that I know that where I went, people treated me differently. And whether, egos, a dirty word, yada, yada. But you know what? I liked it. I liked being treated nicely. I liked getting the good parking spot.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I liked, the whole.
There's nothing wrong with that, though, surely. A bit of human respect and all the rest of it. And it's very true. So getting back to what your comment was, I really don't think it's ever about the materialistic stuff.
Yep.
And, everything that, it's like if I were, like, for example, and I don't want to take away from this, but a lot of people that I thought I had kind of dwindled away from. How people come into your life and then they go into the wild blue yonder.
Yep.
Well, they've come back again. Some of them, not all of them, but they'll come back and they'll suddenly tell me things about the training they had with me. or what happened for them. And it's almost like they're seeing a reality, picture of me in a real world. So
Right.
there is nothing wrong with being real raw and,
I thoroughly
up
recommend being
front.
as
I really
raw as you
do.
can.
Yeah, because I have come to know that authenticity is totally, it's the new sexy.
I like that. Oh my, we've got to get that on a t-shirt. Somebody out there, start printing away. Now, Josh, great to see you. Josh contributes to some of our other shows as well. He's got a very sharp political mind, this guy. So
Oh,
great
hi,
to see him
Josh.
diving into this side of things as
Oh,
well.
thank
for
you.
humanity.
Yes,
So
I'm very honoured.
Josh has put, I don't feel safe with money in the bank after Canada started seizing bank account from folks who donated to the truckers in Ottawa. Cash and crypto is king, baby. Now, everything you just said, completely agree with, mate. 100,000%. So, yeah, my point about safety was, look, that of growing a nest egg or having something where you're just not driving along. Like, I mean, I've literally, I've been in situations where I thought, if the car runs out of fuel, like I'm walking home, right? Like,
You think of the worst scenario? Is that what it is? Like, you picture yourself walking home in a desert or something?
No.
On your own?
No.
Hitchhiking?
No, I have hitchhiked many years ago. I don't think I do it these days. This
So
is 30
old.
year ago.
Nobody hitchhikes anymore.
No, everyone has success in Uber, right?
Yeah.
But back in the day. So for what Josh has said, I completely agree. I think, like cash, crypto, keeping away from, and, obviously cash is king. But
Yeah,
I'm trying to say
absolutely.
from the point of view of, like, your lifestyle. Don't be afraid of building that safety net for yourself. That's, I think, that's where
Yeah,
I'm going to go.
yeah, absolutely. And
Believe in
stand by your beliefs, because if cash is king, and I do believe there's so much truth. Oh, cash is king, content is queen. So if I can say that one, so and this is what we're doing right here on this show. So, your words, everybody's words is
Yep.
content. And talking about life purpose and soul purposes, it's not just for coaches
No,
and
not at all.
people out there. It's for leaders, it's for influencers. And if you're a parent, you are a leader. If you are a community person, you are a freaking
That's a
leader.
great point.
And you want to be able to have the right words, the right influence to make this planet a better place.
And why not, right? Why not make this planet a better place? Josh has also made a comment about him making the world a better place. He likes things very raw, because that's why he's got 3 kids. Nice work, mate. Very impressed
Very
there.
good.
But yeah, look, there we go. It's just same message coming through differently. It's just good old feed is doing something strange. This is the one thing that we have an interesting rather experience here, because we can't see every feed that comes through, which is so frustrating, because it's just technology, the way the world works.
Yeah.
So
if you're putting comments down,
Yep.
we've got so many different pages happening. So Aaron's kind of trying to navigate, but generally speaking, that would be the only reason we wouldn't get to your questions on this.
Yeah, so
show.
because we go into so many platforms, we
Yeah.
can generally see about 3. They allow us to see about 3.
Okay.
But if you're going to
Yep.
8 or 10 or 12 or whatever,
I don't know
then
how you keep up, to be
I
quite
don't know.
honest.
Yes.
Wow. And then you've got to read all the questions
I
out
can
now.
fake multitasking
You
like
can.
anyone.
Oh,
right? Yeah,
well, you're
that's what I
pretty
can
damn
do.
good at it, if I may say so myself.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. All right. Well, look, and another thing too about these comments coming in. The great thing is, how good is this to be able to have a conversation with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And again, be raw. Say what you think.
Yeah,
If I say
definitely.
something you don't agree with, tell me.
Yeah.
I've just come from an event at Parliament
have?
House. I gave a speech up there, and. What was really interesting? You're there with all these people with all these different backgrounds, all these people with different ideas. And it's a very cool thing when we live. You feel like you live in a world right now where people get angry about having different ideas. Well, today I was in an environment where that was actually not the case. And it's a great thing, because we grow through learning other people's opinions.
Yeah.
You don't grow by living in a fishbowl, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say too, I think there was that sort of element of numbers and how many people are passionate about what you're passionate about and what is actually going on in the world at the moment. And, this is for generations to come.
That's right.
And sometimes I think everybody wants immediate gratification. So this is the other thing. Oh, I did not succeed. I planted a seed. Where's the tree?
Yes.
You know,
you had me going then. 'Cause
yeah.
damn, you're onto it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you know what I mean? You cannot plant a seed and expect a tree to be there the next day. You plant trees. You may never see the trees that you planted from the seeds that you sown.
I can say this in a literal sense.
I thought that
So
was good.
I
Did you
love
think
it.
that was
No,
good?
I loved it. You know where it took me? So, okay, it took me to, when I was 15 years old, my dad made me go out there, and I'm very lucky living on a property. And then we get the driveway in, and the driveway looks a bit bald. So Dad says, okay, we're going to put a line of trees down the side, okay? Now, I'm 15 years old, okay? You know what I care about? I care about cars and girls, okay?
Yeah.
Not planting trees at all. I've got 2 areas of interest and nothing else. So,
A 2-track mind.
that's right, that's right. And yeah, so with that, I remember him getting out there and I had to do all the legwork. So I'm the guy with the shovel,
Yeah.
and I'm digging all of these holes,
Yeah.
and we measured it out. I'm not going to carry on, and I plant these tiny little trees, and I hated every minute of it. Okay, now nearly 30 years later, actually, hang on,
here
I'll
we
do the
go.
sums. No, nearly 40 years later.
Ooh.
Ooh, wow. Okay, I go there, getting there closer. Anyway, I literally was driving down the freeway, and there was a big picture of a housing development that they were promoting, right? Anyway, I went to myself, they're my trees, right? They're my trees.
Boom.
So I went and drove
Right
down to my
there.
old place. Anyway, the housing development had taken a picture of my trees,
Yep.
which are now near on 30 years old and,
Yep.
and big and beautiful, and
That's
the bark's coming off, and they
amazing.
look gorgeous, and they're all
Yeah.
perfectly lined up. And the housing development.
But at least you got to see them, Aaron.
Yeah, but okay, point I'm going on this is that when I planted those things, I didn't appreciate what I
Yeah.
was planting.
Exactly.
And all those years later, I look and just
Instant
go,
gratification, 15-year-old man, I wouldn't be surprised, or
digging
boy.
a hole, digging a hole.
Yeah,
Nah,
nah.
not pleased.
Nah.
So,
But see, this
I got
is the
it, I
whole
got it, I
point.
got
You
it,
know,
I had to wait.
you just that's part of your legacy.
Yeah.
You know, that tree, when you're dead and gone one day, sorry to be blunt, but
It's
you know,
true.
in another 50 years,
Yep.
you know, those trees will still be there.
I think
and
so.
that's because Aaron Malloy planted them when he was a rebellious 15-year-old
That's
boy
right.
that didn't want to plant them.
Yep.
And what I'm getting to here is that you do not know whose life you can touch, change and transform. And this is where I'm going, you know, if I want to get into reality about your limitless, you know, potential, because your limitless potential is far deeper, far greater than some materialistic wannabe of high success. What you've got to look at is, why do you want that, and what is the real depth of that reason? Because
Yep.
at the end of the day, you know, there is probably a yearning that comes from all of us innately that we want to leave a mark on the planet.
I think the word legacy is not used enough. I think it's so important to leave a legacy, okay? Whether it's, you know, that just, look, the sparkle in your grandchild's eye is your legacy, right? Or, you know, it could be it could be an organisation, it could be a business, it might be just, it could be a row of trees.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Leave a legacy. It's so important. Right?
Yes.
Because every one of our lives, no matter like how big, small, whatever, wherever you fit into society, like everybody has the potential.
Yeah.
And no, not even the potential. Everybody leaves a mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they agreed.
The world agrees. That's really
Yes,
interesting. My
that's
phone just leapt off the thing.
Yes, something just jumped out off, and it was Aaron's phone.
Yeah.
That's
That's
energetically, that is an energetic sign that what is happening is we're ready to rock and roll.
We
gonna
are. Let's get into these questions,
We're going
right?
to take the energy to the next level. Let's do this.
Absolutely. All right. We're not
Yes.
going to get attacked by flying phones. All right. Let's
Wow.
check these questions. Now, this is the one that we've popped in there from earlier. So this is now a message from Callum from Sydney. Hey, mate. Great to hear from you all the way from the other side of the country. If there is a way to tap into your supernatural powers or greatest potential, why is our world such a mess?
Yeah, I thought you'd be a good one on that one.
Ooh.
Because it is true, isn't it? It's a bit ouchy wow wow, and I do believe that
Have you
you've
been
got a
reading?
good point.
No, not you. Sorry, Callum. Have you been reading my Facebook lately? Because I've actually been putting stuff about the world being such a mess, and
Yeah.
why I think it's such a mess.
Well, it is.
It is.
I mean, let's
I'm
face
not
it.
alone on
Let's
this
not
thought.
lie about it,
Yeah.
right? You know, we are, you know, in very desperate times.
We are.
And you know, the simple fact is that if everybody knew, and I do believe, and I'm not going to mention names here, I don't want to be too partial or impartial, but I do believe there are certain leaders in the world that do know how to tap into supernatural powers.
Do you?
And some of them for the gooder, the greater good, and
Yep.
some of them for not so greater good. And, you know, this is the whole thing. So what is supernatural powers? That's the first thing, Callum.
Okay.
And why is our world in such a mess? Well, if my mother was here on the show, which I'm sure she'd love to be one day.
We should get Mum in.
You know, when I
Absolutely.
said to her, don't watch the show last week, she did. Anyway,
She did anyway?
I'm just going to,
Okay, the two things you've got to get into, you got to make me a chicken curry.
Yes.
Okay, and you
Yep.
got to get Mum in.
Oh,
Okay, get those two things
absolutely.
covered.
Mum
Right,
on the
done.
couch. If Mum was here, she would say it's the war, dark and light. And no matter what you believe in and what you don't believe in, there is darkness, there is light. There is yin, there is yang.
Of course there is.
There is positive, there is negative. So this is what it is all about. And, you know, if the world focuses in on the negative and they get sucked into that vortex, I mean, it's a sad place. And that's why there's so much depression, corruption, destruction, and all the rest of it. However, we also we can't change something that is negative into something that's positive. We
I don't agree.
But we can transform it though.
Okay.
We can
All right, okay.
transmute it.
Transmute.
You know,
Right.
like, you know, getting a painting and making a real mess. Like, I'm not an artist in that way.
Sure.
And then somebody comes along and turns that mess into this beautiful message, and then creates something out of it. You can transform things. You can dissolve and clear and release
Yep.
some of the stuff that you are going through, but it's almost like we are not meant to live in a world filled with supernatural power, because otherwise maybe the planet would be very boring, right?
Very.
And also, if we did, I believe, and I'm going to be a bit biased here
Okay.
about neuro-linguistic programming.
Yep.
Honest to God, if they brought neuro-linguistic programming into schools and said, well, they've got to be at a certain age, they've got to be linguistic, they've got to be able to have language patterns, they've got to have some belief systems. So I would say the age of 8. If they taught
right.
at the age of 8 in every class the basic fundamental foundations of NLP, which is key language and how to speak and how, you know, and really how to control your emotions, I think our world would be a different place. Not to mention, you know, what I've talked about on the show, visual, audible, kinesthetic, how children learn,
Sure.
how kids suffer. And if they get the wrong teacher, they say, oh, it's the wrong student, the student's stupid, they can't learn anything. Actually, no, it's the teacher. If the teacher could jump into their world,
Yep.
I mean, if I can jump into a world of dementia,
Yep.
then you can jump into a world where a 5-year-old, you know, child that has ADHD is you know, obviously functioning.
No, I agree. Exactly. It's a case of stepping up, okay, and being present for it and getting it.
Yeah.
That's a really good example of what you said about the dementia. You step into that world,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So if you're at school and I had a school teacher, my year 6 teacher, she got me, all right? She understood me. She knew
That's so good.
Okay, it was such a difference. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
From most of my student life, I hated school. I was against school. Now, this particular person, she was so wonderful. All I wanted to do was, I wanted to make her happy. I worked extra hard. I applied myself, and just purely and simply by being treated with respect and treated with
She drew
love.
your character, that's why.
Yep, yep.
She believed in you, Aaron.
100%.
And that, you know, that's a big thing, you know, when a child will go in the way that they feel that their parents expect them to go.
Yep.
So if a parent is consistently seeing all the negatives and pouncing on them and not really getting into their world.
Yep.
And, you know, this is the thing. You've got to learn how to get into the world and make the best of what the world is. So why? I don't know if I can actually answer that question. I don't know whether you've got any
the supernatural
good
powers.
ways.
Look,
yeah.
I think it's supernatural. Well, I don't know about supernatural, but I'll go with superpowers. Okay.
Well,
Look,
supernatural is really beyond that part of it I understand. So with our supernatural, that is our super conscious. We all have that. It's that higher consciousness that is more 5-dimensional.
Sure.
So rather than being here in the 3-dimensional
Yep.
and stuck in ego and all of that kind of stuff, you are looking at that part that they often say it is God within. It is that part within. It's those downloads you get. You know, the gut instinct. You know, when you get that sudden, oh, I've got a feeling about this, or you see someone you don't like them and you get that feeling and you
Sure.
ignore it. That's That's your supernatural
Okay,
power.
okay.
So that happens. But why is our world such a mess? Because of darkness and light.
Well, okay. And my point that I made about the Facebook post, and I mean this, I want to drill home to anybody who will listen to me. Okay, the world right now, the biggest problem the world has got right now is a lack of masculinity. Okay, genuine masculinity, right? Not toxic masculinity, which is not a thing.
Well, women
okay?
can
You
have masculine elements to them as well.
But
Yeah.
exactly? But okay, we are being taught and pushed away from strength and integrity as a man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we are being feminized in that, whether it be through the education department, through politics, through the medical world, through the food that we eat, all of these sorts of things. All the social services are doing that, and I think that as a Callum, as a fella, to stand up and actually embrace and love your masculinity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, own it.
Is so bloody important.
Yeah.
It really, really
own
is.
it, own it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And for women,
Yeah.
their femininity, right? I mean, like yin and yang, you said
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
balance is so
Yin and
damn
yang.
important,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You really
Yeah.
need this.
But a lot of women, especially ones that I'm dealing with,
Yep.
quite often we are in the masculine element,
Right.
And that's the hustle. When
hustle,
when
yeah.
you're hustling,
So I
that's when
suppose
you're
that
in.
would be traditionally,
but
yeah.
where this is the other thing. Getting back to the manifestation thing,
Yep.
where I said, suddenly you let go, and then you're getting this, all the things you want suddenly come into play.
Yep.
You know why? You move into feminine. So that letting go and that just beingness is your femininity.
Okay.
And the masculine is, okay, we've got to do this.
Yep.
Let's go, And there is a time and a place. Like, even as a coach, you've got to
Yeah.
let people know that you've got to have that hustle. You've got to get in the trenches, but you've then got to have that ability to also go into your beingness and be in that feminine kind of.
Great. So, I mean, my
stance as
point to
well.
Callum would be very much like, you need to hook into exactly those feelings and those powers that we're talking about right now. I think that, you need to celebrate the masculine in you.
Yeah.
You need to celebrate the feminine in you, right? Like, you need a sensitive side. We all need a sensitive side,
Yeah.
right? We need a nurturing side, okay? And in a traditional sense, that's
Yeah,
the feminine.
that is,
So,
definitely.
yeah, I think if you can just grab hold of those two powers, don't let outside influences muddy the waters, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, that would be the biggest thing I could say. And I think you'll find that when you do that, like, your world becomes less of a mess because I'm going to use the big C word here. No, not that one. Control.
Right.
You control your destiny when you surround yourself with quality people.
Yeah.
When it's a
Yeah.
decision to live in that part of your body and your soul
Yeah.
that serves your purpose. So you know what? If I need to give sensitivity and time and apathy and empathy rather to a friend, then I'm going to dive into the feminine part of my personality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But if I've got a deadline and I'm in a hurry and things need to get done, guess where I'm going, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to be in the trenches.
In
You've
the
got to
trenches.
hustle. But I've actually got a meditation on masculine and feminine, and it's
Okay.
actually a lot to do with sexuality as well, and also where we were raised, because a lot of the feminine in the woman is in their womb, of
Right.
course. So one might say, well, how come that men have it as well? But they were in the mother's womb once upon
Yeah.
a time. So they might not have a womb, but they were in that womb. And quite often we can be very impacted by what happened to us in the womb. And then when we're, obviously in those formative years between 0 and 7, how mum and dad were, you know, what dad's thoughts and beliefs were as opposed to what mum's were.
Great point.
And we live in a world, you know, Callum, getting back to your question, we do live in a world where we're waging, aren't we? We're waging war, there's just this total faction going on.
Yep.
And, you know, I really feel that that's where I'm not going to suggest it to everybody else, but the people that are, you know, obviously keen on being a little bit in my world can understand that I feel very called to raise the energy of the planet.
I like that. My point would be raise your energy first. You've got control of this fella or that woman, you know. Do that first.
Yeah.
Because when you as an entity are doing well, then you have the capacity and you have the ability to actually help others. When you're run down, you're pretty lousy. So. All right, let's jump to, thanks for that, Callum. Now we're going to go to Bronwyn. Bronwyn is in beautiful Canada. Maybe we'll get Josh to send us some money. That'll be a bit of a laugh. That'd be cool. So beautiful Canada. There we go. Now, how can NLP help me to be respected from people? I always felt I'm being undermined. Is it my communication or energy? And what could I do to change it for the better?
That's a very good question. I do know Bronwyn, and I do kind of understand, I do believe what your question is about, and that is that you feel disrespected, and if you feel undermined, I mean, disrespected, undermined is kind of like, you know, much of the same. Communication is not necessarily just the words that are coming out of your mouth, but they are the words that are going through your mind.
Oh, that's not where I was going in my mind, so that's interesting. Go on.
Yeah, so it's what we tell ourselves, and this is coming back to your belief system. So, for example, Bronwyn, as a little child, if you were made to feel in that undermined kind of a situation and you felt downtrodden, disrespected, and I'm a little bit privy to the background here, then you kind of carry that wound a little bit. And so in a way you're right on both aspects. However, you say communication or energy, it's both. And it's not necessarily the communication that you're speaking, but what you're telling yourself. So if you can become super aware and be able to, when you're feeling, you know, some of that contraction and feeling like less of self-worth, you've got to be able to ask yourself the question, what am I telling myself? What does this mean to me right now? Because you've got to be able to almost call the bluff on the story in your head. You know, turn the light on and call the bluff.
Has so much more to do with how you show up for life than what other people are saying.
And you know, fear is really, I mean, false evidence appearing real. You know, how many times, you know, I had a situation recently, I won't go into the story behind it, it's too long, but where I was sweating over this situation, right? There was something pending that was very big in my life. And I was, you know, there were nights where I laid awake, you know, and I was saying, oh, what's going to go on here? You know, is it, you know, is it going to go this way or is it going to go that way? And I went on, and do you know what? I had to literally have a date with destiny to sit down and speak to, obviously, authorities, powers to be, whatever you want to call them. And do you know what? The topic did not even arise. It just went under the thing. I had wasted how many hours?
All of that energy.
How many hours? Because, you know, I was in fear somehow of losing. I was in fear of being second best. I was in fear. And where did all this come from? Bronwyn, baby? From the voices, or not the voices in my head, but the stories that are going around in my head, and that carries energy.
Look, I've got a whole football team in here. So, voices in my head. Bronwyn, from my point of view, this is why NLP is so powerful, right? Yeah, you have the power to pull that plug it in somewhere else and go, okay, you know, is it my communication or my energy? You can actually determine that. Like, you can make that decision. It's not like, we are not programmed from birth that this is going to be the life that we're going to live, right? Sure, you're going to have traits and you have all these sorts of things which are the cards that you're going to play, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But
Like predestiny, you mean?
yeah. But
I
we
believe in
ultimately
that.
have the decision
Yes.
that we can, or the ability to make the decisions that control our lives.
Yep.
And how you treat yourself inside your head is the biggest, is the most controlling factor. Now, I can say that with some authority because I am shocking at this. I beat myself up inside my head. I think about every scenario. I don't sleep much. I've got a crazy busy head thinking about all the things that don't even come.
And they don't come around.
They don't even come around.
They don't
What a
even
waste.
happen. You know, I mean, DeMartini had a whole story on it where he was chafing, he broke out in a rash, he was back and forth to the toilet because he was in a class and he had to give a tutorial that he was so nervous about, and they did it in alphabetical order and he didn't even hear his friend's speech who went before him because he was so, in total fear of his own speech and what he was going to say. And it never happened. So he said, never again will I ever allow myself to get anxious about something that hasn't happened. So learn to be a whistleblower on the team that's going on in your own head.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That is, the whistleblower thing is very, very good. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite to Bronwyn and say, this is how you do it.
We all do it. We all do
it, right? We all do it, okay? And some of it, I don't know if I do it more than others. It feels like
you
I do
think
it
feels like
exactly.
it, but I might say, well, I've got a competition because maybe I'm better
Spot on,
than you.
I don't know. I'm not inside your head. I don't know what's going on. You could be as crazy as me, right?
But that's what probably Bronwyn's thinking as well.
100%. Yeah, that's kind of my point. Exactly that. So, if you can, and in my life, the times that I've been able to go and slow it down, change the language, it is pretty amazing actually, just changing just the language of how you look at that particular situation.
Yeah.
But it slows it down. Like I used to, for argument's sake, if you're in an argument while the other person's barking at me, I would be preparing an answer.
Okay.
That's dumb, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Premeditating everything.
When I actually started
rehearsing the argument.
Because then it's more about winning than actually learning.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when you actually do this, I started thinking about things differently in this case. And I would go, all right, I'm actually going to sit and I'm just going to listen. I'm going to take it all in.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have a few minutes, a little bit of a pause, a few seconds of just, and then I'll give a response.
Yeah.
And that slowing it down process was incredibly beneficial to me.
Breathe.
And
take a deep breath.
And doing it here with your inner monologue, when your inner monologue is saying to you, just it's doing that. Okay, instead of being here trying to create the answer for it, maybe just chill out, actually listen to it, and then go, no, I don't agree. This is not the way I'm going to move forward.
Yeah, I've also got a little handy resource as well on that. There are 15 presuppositions. Maybe you guys can Google it out there, but the 15 presuppositions of NLP. And what you can do, Bronwyn, I can give it to you if you want because you're in my community. What you can actually do is whatever you're struggling with, you can go to those 15 presuppositions and see if you can find the one that's going to change the way you see that problem.
Look at you got a cheat sheet for it. Love it. Good stuff. And you know what? Utilise these tools.
Yeah.
Because this saves you time. From time, energy, and
Yes.
your life. Enjoy your life.
100%.
Why not take these little shortcut measures that if somebody else has done the hard work? Why not use it for you?
Yes.
Now, I want to go to Sue's question, if I may. Sue is from New Zealand, so I love it to have a Kiwi there with your questions coming from that part of the world. Okay, Sue, straight on the front foot, the back foot, I don't know. She says, I am ready to give up on this manifestation thing. I have been desperately putting out my vision for 5+ years and nothing works. What could I be doing wrong?
Well, I did see your question and I kind of did cover it actually because I was so enamoured by the question. And it actually helped me to be able to recognise that letting go thing where we're not giving out that emptiness of, so for example, what is the word in this conversation here? Can anybody guess it? If you look at that question and you position that question, what is the word in there that is emulating an emotion, that is emulating an action, and that is emulating a manifestation in itself? And it starts with a D, and it's desperate, right? That desperate word is the element of what, because I know, so don't hear me dissing what you're saying here, because this is exactly where I had been.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, well, you let it go. There's got to be that feminine energy that we're just talking about. So you've been in your masculine, you know, the vision boards and the this and the that and the hustling and, you know, all of that stuff. You've got to have that faith. You got to have that trust.
It wasn't just George Michael that needed faith.
No, that's right. And so that desperate, can we take that out? And you know what, Sue? I've got a little challenge for you, a little exercise. I dare you to get your teeth into something else, or something that you can really focus your energy on. Because every time I had something show up, it was when my focus actually went somewhere else. But see, you've already put it out there. You've done a lot of work. And all that work, you think that it's a waste? It's not a waste.
Not at all.
It's only a waste if you keep on doing what you're doing. You know,
you need to pivot,
the definition of stupidity. If you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same thing. Now it's like, stop repeating yourself over and over to the universe. Gimme, 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 gimme. The universe is going to give. The reason that you want it is because it wants you. So now, let it go. Go get yourself a nice little focus and a nice little, you know, something you can get your teeth into, girl. And then allow that to just naturally evolve.
I like that. I like that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about sometimes just setting something aside a little bit and focusing on something else, because when you do, your eyes become fresher to the opportunities. The universe does, for some strange reason I still can't work out. But when you do take your eye off, it it comes together. The thing that you have put aside, all of a sudden kind of comes together. And there's been a lot of examples of that in my life where I'm just like, all right, okay, we can't be doing this anymore. It's not working. And then guess what?
Walk away and then it chases after you.
Oh, that's a great one. Exactly.
It's like barley, you know.
You buy.
I give you cheap price, and then you offer them a cheap price. No. And then you walk off and they start chasing you. Say, you have.
That's so true. That's the beauty of that one.
But yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, look, I hope that sort of helps out. I feel for Sue, because when you're trying so hard and you're so close to a breakthrough for so long, geez, it gets hard. It gets hard. But I can say this from personal experience, that you just got to persevere. And also remember this, okay? It takes 20 years to become an overnight success.
Exactly. Ian said 15. So that's, but 15, 20, there were so many thousands and thousands of hours.
People
I
look at the fast fix. The fast fix isn't sustainable. Okay, if you want to build something that's got strong foundations, you've got to spend the time. You've got to build it.
Build the foundations. Build that, you know, rock solid pad. But have fun doing it. Because when you have fun doing it, guess what? The energy will change, and then you'll be more likely to manifest it.
Oh, let's finish on something philosophical from the great band Wang Chung. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody. Wang Chung tonight. Geez, that cheesy. That is so cheesy. We are out of here. Thank you very much for being part of the Genius Zone.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Oh, no. We're out of here. It's Edge Radio Australia, the Genius Zone.